every week. I thought you have an event.
Yeah, I'm here in Chicago at a volleyball event. So
Great. Good luck. I will speak to you next week, but I will sum up all the questions if you have time. I will share the invites and the attendees. Thanks again. Michael, are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready. And I also wanted to thank Christina as well, as her introduction is basically goes perfectly in line with basically what I wanted to discuss today, as it gives you those best practices on what you should do or not do when using a generative AI, especially in particular with ChatGPT. And I, in fact, I just wanted to go, one step backward as well and give a bit more of a general, discussion of why is it that generative AI has caught our interest this much? Why is it, why is it the talk of the year, I'd say, and it's probably also going to continue being the talk of the year as it always goes evolving. Why is it that it caught our interest this much? And in my opinion, the reason behind that was because, well, the generative AI makes our life easier. It helps us automate those tasks. It helps us automatically create those job descriptions, or it helps us automate creating those messages. It helps us speed up our workflow. It helps us, well, basically automate. And that's exactly what Drupal Cloud also does, as it's basically an all-in-one automation tool that helps in automating screening, automating identifying and screening and identifying, fitting candidates. It helps also in automating the outreach. But speaking of generative AI, Drupal Cloud also helps in actually combining the generative AI of ChatGPT into the automated outreach, so that you can actually not just have the benefits of a generative AI in automating the creation of a message, but you can combine that with the automation of actually sending out that message as well. Now, Christine, I think you're still sharing your screen. Yes.
I was trying to take over, but somehow it.
Sorry.
Yeah. So I actually wanted to share directly, actually in practice this. I want to show it actually in action on how it operates. I want to share directly, basically Drupal Cloud itself, and show in action what it can do with ChatGPT. And it goes hand in hand with Christina's recommendations, as well as I can actually basically show another usage case of what Christina was explaining earlier and why it's so important to basically follow those guidelines she mentioned. So I'll go ahead and actually share my screen here. And what I'll be sharing is, well, basically my entire screen about Drupal Cloud. And what I wanted to show here in practice is these are several contacts that I happen to have imported into my repository. But staying on subject with the generative AI aspect, I wanted to actually showcase the messaging capabilities of basically what I can do with it. And I wanted to select, for example, a contact that I have in my database. And this basically all automatically been sourced from LinkedIn. So I have their professional experiences, their information, just for some context, so that for the build-up to context needed to then showcase the ChatGPT integration. The sourcing capabilities of Drupal allow me to actually source the full LinkedIn profile of any contact, be it their summaries, professional experiences, user experience, educations, skills, accomplishments, pretty much all that information, including company information. And the reason I wanted to mention this and show this is because all that information, as mentioned also by Christine, is necessary because ChatGPT, if you want to use it to create a prompt, to create a message for you, it needs to know the context. It needs to have that information so that it knows what it can actually write. Because if you don't give it the context, the way I like to kind of explain it is ChatGPT is it's an intelligent person, but it's deprived of senses. So to clarify, is a person, if you ask them to, describe themselves and they find themselves in an office, they can basically have their senses. They can see that they're in an office, and through common sense, they then basically describe themselves in a professional manner, maybe because it's an interview. But ChatGPT doesn't have these senses. It can't see where it is. It can't see the environment it's in. So unless you tell it what it needs to do, who it needs to be, and what environment it should adapt to, it's not going to be actually relevant to what you're looking for. So as Christina mentioned, you have to be you have to be experienced in knowing how to control, how to command the ChatGPT prompt into giving you that output you want. And Drupal helps in automating that aspect, because just as it automates importing all that information for a profile, it helps us then automatically pass that information over to ChatGPT, so we can actually automatically give it all the context it needs for an actual personalized and intelligently auto-compiled prompt for us. And just to kind of quickly showcase, one of the actions you can, of course, run in Drupin is you can automate outreach. And that's specifically what I want to go more in detail on here, because that's exactly what Drupin's ChatGPT integration helps us in integrating with. So if I select a contact, for example, that I want to send a message to, when I pick the message option that I want to reach out to them, instead of having to rely on the message that I have to write myself, and I compile it with those usual standard smart fields that you can use to, quote their names, I can actually combine that with a auto-generated text that ChatGPT created for me. And just to kind of quickly show it actually in action, these are several prompts that I built as examples. And I happen to have, for example, this icebreaker prompt that I can then also select which job I'm referring to. I happen to have a couple of examples I built. And we can actually see how it automatically creates a message for me for, in this case, Rupesh. And I'll also show in a second how I built this prompt and why it's then giving me this nicely personalized message. So as soon as I press here, show preview, it basically generates this prompt for me automatically. And I give it here a minute as it's communicating with ChatGPT and so on. So here it's basically giving me this nice introductory message saying, "Hi Rupesh, I'm impressed by your experience, software development experience. Your extensive, sorry, I can't even read. I'm impressed by your extensive software development experience and list of amazing skills. I'd be really keen to know more about your cross-skill knowledge of REST APIs, developing web applications with intensive JS stack. Let's chat." This is all information. I haven't really read through Rupesh's profile, but this is all information that ChatGPT automatically grabbed for me that Rupesh mentioned in their profile, and then gave me this, wonderful introductory message that is nicely personalized, that helps me not just compile that message, but also then send it out. And since it's been done all automatically, I can do this at scale as well. So I can, rather than just selecting Rupesh on his own, I can select 50 contacts and in bulk have a perfectly personalized message like this send out for them. But for more context on how did I create this prompt, how did I achieve this? And this also is important that you listen carefully on Christina's demonstration, because you need to grasp properly those aspects that she also mentioned, because you're going to need to create that prompt. You can create the prompts from this Manage ChatGPT Prompts button, and this is the menu where you write down the prompt that you want to give to ChatGPT, and Drupin will then automatically basically pass that prompt over and output the results. So this is where I can type out whatever question or prompt I wanted for ChatGPT, but the additional automation here is that I can combine that with the smart fields of a contact. So rather than having to always write everything myself, saying, act as a recruiter, this is the contact's name, this is their summary, and so on, I can have Drupin do that for me. I can use the smart field of the contact label here and directly have it quote any specific piece of information that Drupin has automatically imported for us from these contacts. So I can quote their names, their roles, companies, years of experience, locations, summaries, and all that. And to actually showcase the exact prompt I was using in that message that I showed earlier, I was using the icebreaker message here, and this is exactly that prompt that I gave it. And this also follows those recommendations of Christina, so it goes perfectly in line. I am telling it how it should act. I'm saying you're a recruiter, so it knows what type of message it needs to write. And then I'm also saying that first name is going to quote the name of whichever contact I've selected is a potential candidate. And I don't even have to worry about which job I'm hiring for, as I can directly select that. So it's going to quote whichever job I've selected. I can also quote additional information about the job, like what salaries or what locations or so on that the job offers. But just to keep it simple, I'm simply quoting the position of the job, which in that case happened to be for a Java developer. And then I'm saying, what I wanted to do. I wanted to write a creative and unique icebreaker introductory message to catch first name's attention. And basically, that's the usual command that you would write, but this time I don't need to add all that information myself. Drupin is doing it for me. And I'm adding additional information on top of that name, of course, because it needs the context to know, what to write. And I say it needs to take into consideration first name's experience at the company they're currently working in, their role, their starting date of experience, and also their listed skills and their profile summary. So I've now automatically given ChatGPT all the context it needs, basically following those guidelines of Christina. So I properly have the prompt that I can easily control. And then I'm telling it that I wanted to output a message within maximum 50 words. And I can also give it a styling preference if I want. I didn't add one in my case. I simply then give it the name of how I want to call this prompt, and I can then load in that prompt anytime when I want to write a message. But the nice thing about this as well, because as mentioned by Christina, you shouldn't exclusively rely on ChatGPT. It's not a, I guess, a one ticket, I guess, a solution. You're going to want to combine it with your own knowledge. So this is also another advantage, because the prompt that we have, that ChatGPT that we created, the icebreaker message in this case, I called it, that we're quoting, isn't forcing us to rely on ChatGPT. I can in fact combine this message with whatever actual text I want to write. So this means that I can basically have the hybrid, the flexibility of my manually written text that I've seen myself that works, where I can mention, for example, a great call to action with a link to my, I guess, calendar or so on. And then I can combine it with any personalized text I want ChatGPT to instead do for me, like that introductory message that catches their attention by mentioning why I'm reaching out to them. And just like that, you get basically the best of both worlds, allowing you to combine the automation of having the message written together with the automation of actually having it then outputted automatic for you. So all you actually need to do at the end of the day, once you have this set up, is you can directly create these pre-built messages that then automatically adapt for you. And you can basically in just one click have your entire campaigns sent out. And you can also create automated follow-ups with the Driven Cloud, so that you don't even have to memorize to, I guess, reach out to someone again on a day later, and you can actually have that all automatically operated for you. And yeah, I guess I'd be happy also to, I guess, cover some additional features, but keeping in touch with the, keeping in, I guess, in line with the generative AI. I can also give a bit of a sneak peek of an additional tool that Driven Cloud has that Stefan, I guess, despite being a Driven user, doesn't actually know yet of. So this is also a surprise for you as well. And that is that we've actually built an additional extension called Jobby, which is basically an additional add-on that you can have in your page that uses the ChatGPT API, and it's basically easy access to ChatGPT. I can directly ask any questions or have it, well, it's as if I had ChatGPT at my fingertips, and I can just ask it anything I want. And it comes also loaded with a ton of pre-built prompts and templates. So if I open, for example, this advanced menu, I can have it find specific business-related prompts or templates that I can use, or maybe for recruitment prompts. So I can, for example, say, I want to, who knows, I guess, yeah, these are various prompts I can use, like a job description, as mentioned. And this automatically is a prompt template that says, create a job description for, and then I mention what the content is. So I can have it basically at my fingertips, combine that with the creation of the message, the, I guess, pretty much the experimentation, because as Christina mentioned, to properly be able to, I guess you have to learn how to use ChatGPT. You have to know what task and what terminology to use. So you can kind of experiment with that on this side to just write what the prompt is, what you want, and you can have it outputted for you. And I could say just to showcase this example, I'll write Java developer again for a developer there, sorry. And of course, this is not following Christina's guidelines because I'm only writing the title. You're of course supposed to give it more context and so on. But just to showcase, I guess, the easy access to it, I just press submit, and my bad there. Okay, my mistake. I didn't prepare that, but yeah, okay. I would have, like I said, this would basically give me that ChatGPT prompt token for me that I haven't yet, I guess, synchronized to my account, so my bad there. But yeah, it would basically give me that outputted result with the, like I said, the prompt from ChatGPT easily accessible from that menu on the right. And I can then basically say, oh yeah, I like that message, and I can just copy paste it and add it into my message directly here. Or I can copy paste the prompt format and have it used as an actual prompt that I then add to my campaigns to have it then fully automated. And yeah, pretty much, like I say, that covers those 15 minutes of time that you gave me, Stefan. So I guess this is great timing for, I guess, answering any questions. Actually, I'll have to scroll a bit up to actually find all the questions earlier. Let's see. Okay.
Hey, Michael.
Yeah.
Great presentation. I even didn't know the Jobby, so that's
yeah, that's a new surprise. Yeah.
Nice.
It has not yet
been
announced.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's why it's completely new.
So we had a first gig. Great. When is it live?
Yeah, we plan on having it live probably by Monday. And
okay.
yeah, basically it's an easy access menu for either a huge array of prompts that are relevant to our marketing or recruitment aspects, and of course also basically ChatGPT, so you can ask it anything you want and then outputs that prompt for you.
Yeah. Hey, Jelle, I have a question. Which set do you use in Jobin?
Ah, yes, sorry. So I actually lost count of where the questions were. So I'm gonna scroll up a bit.
I somehow fixed it. Or not fixed it. I tried to pin it, but
yes, sorry,
the
found
question
it.
was which set do you use in Jobin?
Ah, yes. So as in sets, you mean the plans or which I guess I'd need a because yeah, by set, what do you mean by set? It's a bit generic, so I don't know exactly. But yeah, I'll wait for the answer later on. I guess I'll move ahead with the next question. Yeah, perfect. Yeah, the plan. Okay, perfect. Yeah. So I guess the plans are also very customizable. So you can actually upgrade them at any time. So if you want, you can actually start out on a lower plan, and you can then simply upgrade to a larger plan as needed. So you're not like forced into making an ultimatum decision, and you're then stuck with it for the remainder of the month or so on. But the plans we actually recommend the most, basically the most cost-effective plans, are generally on the Pro tier. Pro tier is for those that actually use, I guess, those functionalities professionally. So say you want to automate LinkedIn automation actions professionally because you're a recruiter, then the Pro plan is ideal for you. The Ultimate, which is that tier above, is instead more for like very high scale individuals. So like, for example, if you're an agency or if you're just like very, I guess, yeah, hyperactive and you work a lot on your outreach. So generally Pro plan, I'd say, is always the go-to for any of the types of modules that you'd be interested in. But yeah, I guess then for the other, I guess so Christine was also, I guess, helping along in the examples I see in the chat. So she was giving great examples. And I guess, yeah, so yeah, exactly. So I was looking at, so yeah, basically it makes personalized messages for every person in one click, or yeah, pretty much you kind of create the prompt that you want it to utilize. You write in the contents or the message that you want to send out. You can combine it, of course, with your own message. And then all you need to do is select which contacts you want to send that message to. And then in one click, done. And I was actually showing this single message option, which is a single bulk operation, that nicely personalized message for each recipient. But it can also actually create a campaign. And that campaign is basically a combination, entire map of other actions. So just to kind of quickly showcase it just as an image here, it basically creates this kind of map here, where we can have all a series of various actions in that sequence. So it's not just one message sent in bulk, but it's potentially an entire sequence of messages that can also adapt and change even further based on actions that the contact does. Like, for example, in this case, if they accept the invitation or if they don't. And then, yeah, also Marianne, I believe, yeah, so it's a pleasure to see you as well here. So I'm quite well acquainted with you. So, and I guess so. I guess all just very general compliments. Thank you. And Stephanie, I think you're muted.
Yeah, sorry. Jelle is asking, can you show the final message that comes out when the prompt you used here?
Yes. So that final message was actually directly displayed in that preview. So if you want to ever preview the message and how it looks like, all you need to do is, when writing that message, I guess I can very easily just write it again. And actually, it's maybe going to even generate a new one for me because it's a ChatGPT. So all I need to do here is I select that prompt I want. I can then select which job I'm referring to. These are a couple random jobs I created. So I can select the Java developer job here. And I can then write, just for the sake of example, I'll combine it with my own message. So I'll write this as the full text and add who knows their name, let's say. So just to kind of showcase that you can combine the two. If I now press on show preview, I can automatically see how that final message will look like. So you don't have to be left guessing on how it's going to appear. You can just press show preview, and that's going to, well, basically communicate with ChatGPT, see what it outputs, and there you have it. It's I guess, yeah, slightly different, as you can see, because it's creative, it's an AI, so it gave me a different message this time, but it nevertheless created a nice personalized introductory message based on the actual skills and capabilities of Rupesh, in line with the Java developer job that I'm hiring for. And then it also has my custom text that I added here at the bottom. So yeah, basically it allows you to very easily preview that message as well. And yeah, I'm having a bit difficulties following around with all the questions. So, like I said, multi-managing there. And yes.
Great.
Mhm.
Thanks.
And yeah, then perfect.
Michael,
And,
I really love your tool. I love the automation also, and also the the message flow that you see. I really like to recommend it. Thanks for your presentation.
Yeah,
If there are
pleasure.
other questions, I will put it on it, and yeah, we'll answer them later also.
Mhm.
Thanks.
Then, yeah, I'll leave the rest to you, and then yeah, thank you for having me.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I really enjoyed it. For the last presentation, we're going to present myself a little element. Let me look if I don't know how to get it back normal. How does it work? Stop spotlighting. Okay. So the last energy, last 10 minutes, I try to keep it